Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Communication Corner with me, your host, Gail Lewis. Tonight on Communication Corner, we throw the spotlight on District 46 Toastmasters. As you know, on Communication Corner in the past, we have talked about Toastmasters, the public speaking and leadership club. And tonight, I have with me two guests who are two of District 46's best. So, joining me tonight from my far right, working my way in, are Brian Cohen, DTM, from Northern Brookhaven Toastmasters Club. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you. And with you, joining you, is Rhoundy Jones, CC, from True Potential Toastmasters Club, right here in Queens.
Thank you for having me here today.
Oh,
really appreciate it.
Great to have you both. So how are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing wonderful. It's 2013. What is not to be grateful for? Right?
I like that attitude, Rhoundy Jones. So we're here tonight to talk about Toastmasters. So for the people who are not familiar, can you tell me exactly what Toastmasters is?
Brian, do you want to take us into your DTM?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to do that. Well, I am a DTM for one, so I'm a distinguished Toastmaster.
And what does that mean, DTM?
It means I've been around for a while.
Okay.
No, it also means that I've given a bunch of speeches. I would say the count is well over 100 speeches. I've also gotten involved with clubs, starting clubs, mentoring clubs, coaching clubs. I've run a couple of special projects also. But to simply answer your question, what is Toastmasters?
Right.
To me, it's been a playground.
And other than a playground, what is Toastmasters?
Well, beside a playground, Toastmasters is a very, very, very welcoming environment. It's for individuals who feel as though they need to grow in their communication skills. This is the communication corner, I believe it's, So basically, Toastmasters is to help you build your communication skills and make you more comfortable in front of a larger environment of individuals to get your idea across. So that's what Toastmasters is all about.
And to make you more comfortable, let's say, on Queens Public Television?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And how long have, well, let's get back to those distinctions. I noticed that when we had your names up on the screen, we had Brian Cohen, DTM, which you said is Distinguished Toastmaster. Right. And is that as high as you can go in Toastmasters as far as distinctions?
From an education standpoint, the answer is yes. And really what that means is that I have given a number of speeches. We have various manuals that we work with. The initial manual that Rhoundy is working on is the Competent Communicator Manual.
And that's why you've got the CC after your name, Rhoundy?
That's correct, Gail.
Okay. And you were saying, Brian?
Yeah, and that CC is so important. And I've actually done it a number of times. And I find it very beneficial to me to go back. And yes, it is a playground. I love coming to a Toastmaster meeting and getting the opportunity to do something like this because it's a little mini vacation. But the reason why I joined in the first place was much more on a serious note. I had been promoted to a sales manager, and I was very good at one thing.
What was that?
Putting one gentleman to sleep week after week. So I did need to go someplace. It became a playground, but the initial stages of it really was to find a safe place to speak.
Is that also why you joined, Rhoundy?
Well, I believe every Toastmaster, no matter if they're a CC Toastmaster or the first-time Toastmaster or a DTM Toastmaster, we all join for the underlying reason of we want to become better communicators and we want to become comfortable. Basically, when we give speeches, my main reason for coming is because I want to build a confidence in sharing my ideas with individuals, and let them know what I think, and not be ashamed to share my particular idea on a particular topic. So that's why I decided to join Toastmasters about 3 years ago. It was February 1st, I believe, I joined Toastmasters.
Okay, so your anniversary is here.
Yeah, it's coming up close. And the ironic thing, too, my club 29th anniversary is on February 1st. So,
really?
Yes. So we have a big shindig down at Queensboro Hall on February 11th. So, that's why I joined Toastmasters. For my is to become comfortable and to gain confidence, which I didn't have at a very early age.
So your club is True Potential,
yes.
And True Potential Toastmasters Club, and they meet at Borough Hall. You were saying?
They meet at Queensboro Hall every other Monday. Unfortunately, because Martin Luther King birthday is on the 21st of January, we pushed our meeting back to January 28th, and it meets at 7:10 p.m. at Queensboro Hall.
So every other
Monday.
Monday,
yes.
7:10 p.m.
To 9:10
Queensboro
p.m.,
Hall.
yes.
Okay. And Brian?
Yeah, we meet at Northern Brookhaven Toastmasters, so we're out in Suffolk County. We meet the second and fourth Thursdays. So the only months that we really have a problem is going to be November and December. We always have a conflict with Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Okay.
Can't change that one around. But
Try as we
I'd
may.
like to add in, with the DTM, because half of what we do, the competent communicator, you focus more on the speaking side of it. But to become a distinguished Toastmaster, half of the effort really has to do with leadership skills. And it's those leadership skills on that side, not on the speaking side, which has really helped me to gain a lot more confidence in doing things and also to deliver that message out that you really want to.
To add something, the leadership is very essential in Toastmasters.
How so?
When everybody comes to Toastmasters thinking they want to grow in communication skills,
Right.
but by default we also grow in leadership skills. And one of the things we learn is to listen. It's the number one fundamental in leadership is to listen. Learn how to listen, you know, and be able to listen to a different perspective and not criticize that particular individual, but listen to it and say, hey, you know what? I never thought about that before. Why didn't I think of that? And that's what Toastmasters is all about, is to get different perspective from different individuals and be able to build on that and be able to grow as an individual as well, and not say, hey, I don't like the idea. You need to be quiet. I don't want to hear it. But Toastmasters is more like, I like that idea. I really appreciate it. You know, I really like that. So that's what Toastmasters is all about.
So I know that right now our audience is sitting out there saying something like, but what happens at a meeting? So if I go to, let's say, Queensborough Hall on an alternate Monday at 7:10 and I attend a True Potential meeting, walk me through it. What happens at a Toastmasters meeting?
I love that great plug there. I really appreciate it.
Shameless plugs, anywhere we can get them in.
As a president of my club, is True Potential Toastmasters, my number one goal is for when a visitor comes or when a guest comes, I want them to leave more educated than when they came in.
Okay.
You know, that's what we need to. That's what we strive to do at our club, because from experience, 95% of people that come as guests won't return. But I want them to leave and say, hey, you know what? I can't do that. You know, and make them feel that confidence that they can't do anything, because everyone at Toastmasters, a DTM or CC individual, all started from base one, and all of us were afraid to step up in front of the audience and give a speech. So that's what I want my guests to feel when they leave there is, you know what, hey, I can't do that, and they felt more educated than when they came in.
So you come to a meeting, you sit down, and what happens?
Well, we like to try to get everybody to participate. Now,
And that's at Northern Brookhaven.
Yes, at Northern Brookhaven. And so if you are a member, you will participate in one respect or another. And that could be either through giving a prepared speech, evaluating those speeches, or taking on a number of other different types of roles. As a guest, we highly, strongly encourage them to participate. But as a guest, you could still do anything you'd like to do. And I remember the first time I went into a Toastmaster meeting, that was close to 8 years ago. I sat in the back, and I didn't want anybody to ask me anything. 6 months later, I wound up being president. So you never know.
One of the ways we get guests to participate is through table topics.
Oh, what is table topics? Tell me about that.
Thank you, Gail. Table topic is an amazing aspect of Toastmasters, and it's basically an elevator speech. I'm sure some of your audience might not understand an elevator speech. So if you want to compare table topics to something, it's an elevator speech. It's a 2 minutes long speech on a particular topic you never heard about, and it enables the guests to speak on an idea on top of their feet. On their feet, you know, it's like, hey, I don't know what to say, but you know, it's to give them that comfort that you can do it.
So it's impromptu speaking.
Exactly. Thank you.
So you just get up and give a 3-minute extemporaneous speech?
Yeah.
That sounds really daunting, guys.
It could be.
You know, I've been part of Toastmasters for 3 years, and table topics always get me. You know, it still gets me. There are times I get up there and I'm like, oh boy, what have I got myself into? But you know what? You handle it like a pro, and you just do the best that you can. If you're nervous and you don't know the answer, I guarantee you, 95% of the audience don't know that. So they just shake their head and smile and say, "Wow, that was really good."
And what kind of questions are you asking?
Well, yeah, and that, I was going to say that, and that really brings in the leadership side of it. So, what do some of the members do? Somebody will be the table topics master. Sounds a little bit like Dungeons and Dragons in that. But they'll be the table topics master. And there's a couple of different ways of approaching that. You could have set questions where the table topics master would bring index cards and they'd have their questions. Or you could be making questions up as you go along. I like to use, when I'm table topics master, I like to use that as an opportunity to help me improve my interviewing skills.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I'll take a question, I'll base my first question off of somebody's speech prior to, and then I'll ask the question to one of our members, and then the next question that I'll ask will come from the comments made on that table topics. But from the leadership side of it, if you are the table topics master, you got to know who your audience is. So if I have a guest that's going to come up and speak, you got to go with an easy question.
Yes, I agree.
Right.
What do you like to do on a Sunday afternoon?
Why did you decide to become Toastmasters? So it's something simple. You don't want to give them a hard question. You would give a vetted,
seasoned veteran.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much, Gail. Toastmaster. So you have to be. You want to encourage them. You don't want to discourage them. That's the whole point
Right.
of Toastmaster. Encourage, not discourage.
It sounds like a lot of learning by doing as well.
Yes, exactly. You know, a child has to learn to walk, right? You know,
Right.
we all start off crawling at one point in our lives, and then we decide to start walking, then we decide to run. So Toastmasters is the same way. We all crawl by coming to Toastmasters. We all decided to give it some more by going to do table topics, and then we decided to start walking by becoming members.
Right.
And then when we start getting our CC, we decided we wanted to go a little faster, and we start running, and then eventually we become a DTM.
And you're running
Now,
a marathon.
Yes, and the DTM is not the highest distinction in Toastmaster. Actually, it's an accredited speaker within Toastmasters.
Thank you, Rhoundy.
You just demoted Brian
No,
a
I
little
didn't.
bit.
No, trust me. Becoming a DTM is one of the hardest things to do, and it's not. I didn't bring up accredited Toastmasters to diminish a DTM. I'm just saying within the hierarchy of Toastmasters.
But what's an accredited Toastmaster? Tell us about that.
And actually, the accredited Toastmaster is something I'd like to strive for. But I'd also love to come down to one of your club meetings. I want to be table topics
I would love
master.
to have you. I would love to
I'm asking the questions.
No problem.
An accredited speaker. So to become a DTM, it's all about giving speeches, helping clubs, and doing that. So it really is content-driven. To become an accredited speaker, it's quality-driven. So an accredited speaker needs to give 25 real speeches.
Right.
Definition of a real speech would be a speech given outside of a Toastmaster club. So if I gave a 20-minute speech here, that would be a real speech. There would need to be an audience to go and do this. So you got to give 25 of those speeches.
25?
25
Wow.
in 3 years.
Okay.
So that's not too bad.
Okay.
You have to get 5 acknowledgement letters from those speeches, which is not terribly hard to do. And then the fun begins. You have to videotape one of them,
Right.
which I would suggest videotaping a lot of them. Pick the best one, submit that into Toastmasters, they review it. Should you meet those criteria, then you get the opportunity to travel at your own expense to one of the international conventions and then give that presentation again. Then they vote on it again. Now, should they accept you at that point in time, then you can become an accredited speaker.
That sounds like a process.
It is a process. Everything is a process. What in your life is not a process? Everything comes in stages, right? You can't wake up one morning and say, hey, I want to become an accredited Toastmaster. You have to work for it. So he's working for it. Everyone within Toastmasters is working for something.
Right.
And I remember when I first got my CC in the mail, my God, it was the most happiest moment in my Toastmasters life. I think every Toastmaster go through that experience. Like they want to frame it, keep it safe. That's
Mine is in a frame.
There we go. There we go. There we go. That first CC is something special for you because it took you through trial and tribulations just to get it. So we all a treasure of our CC.
Wow. If you're just joining us, we're here with Brian Cohen, DTM, and Rhoundy Jones, CC, both Toastmasters from District 46, as we spotlight District 46 Toastmasters here on Communication Corner. And they've both been joining with me today to talk about their Toastmasters experience. So, gentlemen, I also know that part of Toastmasters, in addition to the table topics, and did I mention I was the Spring 2012 Table Topics, Brian is laughing already, Table Topics champion for
I do know.
District 46?
I know that. Yes, I saw that speech, Gail, and I burst out laughing. It was one of the best table topics.
Keep going, Rhoundy. Keep going.
I love it. I'll pay you after, Rhoundy.
No problem.
Do you know who came in second?
Who came in second, Rhoundy?
I don't know.
Nobody knows. Nobody ever knows.
It might be the gentleman sitting on the stage
That's
with
why
us.
I touched him. Just to be safe, just to be on the safe side, I touched him just to make sure.
Yeah.
Touch her. She came in first. I came in second.
It's a great moment. And again, you get that certificate that you frame. It's something to work for. It's something to work toward. And it's something that, when you achieve it, it feels great.
Yeah.
So like we were saying, part of being a great speaker and becoming obviously an accredited speaker or a CC or a DTM is giving a lot of prepared speeches in addition to the extemporaneous or the impromptu ones. Now, Brian Cohen, who happens to share the stage with us this evening, is one of our better District 46 speakers, prepared speech speakers. So Brian, since I'd love it if you could share with us your speech, The Trouble Toastmasters has gotten me into, if you would. Brian Cohen, the trouble Toastmasters has gotten me into.
Thank you, Gail, for the opportunity. My friends in Queens, and of course, everybody in Toastmasters all around the world, and anybody who's watching this. Now, we've been discussing how safe it is inside of that Toastmaster club. But when you take that step outside of the Toastmaster club, what happens? A little bit of pain happens along the way. But it's from that pain that we actually grow. I was the president of a club. It was an advanced club. I figured, no, let's take these people someplace where they've never been before. So we went to an open mic night, open comedy night, mic night. And we did our Toastmaster meeting beforehand, and it was nice and safe. Well, then afterwards, the open mic night comedians came on, and we had the opportunity to get on stage. I signed up. I figured, you know, you got to live outside of that comfort zone. And I did. And it was good. It was really good. Not my routine. It was good that there was an audience there that was very friendly toward me. I knew most of them. So they applauded when I got done. I think they applauded when I got done because I got done. Not really because I was saying anything really phenomenal. But the guys that were running that open mic night thought, you know, maybe we could take this guy and put him on a stage. Well, I had the opportunity to do an 8-minute stand-up routine in front of 150 people. That was the good news. The bad news is that I called one of my Toastmaster friends on the way there. I said, hey, what do you think about what I'm going to be talking about? She said, no, I think you should change it. And I said, you know, I think you're crazy. Well, not only did I take that into consideration and go to change it, but when I got up on stage, they had set that microphone for a guy that was 6'5". Well, I'm closer to 5'5" than 6'5". First time on stage, the microphone's up here, Brian's down here, and I had no idea how to lower that microphone. I reached up and I tried to bring it down. It wouldn't come down, so I just looked up at it. And then he started laughing. And that was good because I forgot everything else that I was going to talk about. It was painful at the moment, but then they started laughing. So that was really good. So a little bit of pain gets you to someplace. My second story also takes me right outside of that Toastmaster club. I really wanted to have a Toastmaster meeting. I was on a cruise ship. We were down in the Caribbean. And I spoke to the cruise director. I was like, oh, I remember Toastmasters, great organization. She said, oh, yeah, no Toastmasters, love to help you out. I said, can you give me a room? Well, they gave me a room. But the room time they gave me was the same time that the captain was speaking about what we need to do in order to get our luggage on and off. So obviously I was sitting there by myself. But I did find a karaoke bar. I got on stage over there. They were having a contest that night. And I figured, all right, you know, yeah, on stage is on stage. So I said, I'd be more than happy to sing for anything. He said, well, can you sing James Brown? I said, sure, I could sing James Brown. Well, what I didn't realize was that I'm thinking James Dean, not James Brown. For me to sing James Brown was a bit of a stretch, but I did. And the good news there, I was the only contestant, so I won. The song I sang was I Feel Good. And I was practicing this song because they gave me the words. I'm running around the cruise ship, I feel good, I feel good. One of the other contestants was Madonna. And every once in a while, Madonna and I would meet. And I'm singing, I feel good. And she's singing, like a virgin. We were quite the pair to go run up against. And that went on. Wound up getting on stage that night in front of 1,200 people dressed as James Brown. And I sang, I Feel Good. Did fairly well. They didn't boo me off of stage. And I did it also without the words. That karaoke thing kind of disappeared. There was no words. I actually had to memorize everything. But I did it. I didn't fall down into the orchestra pit. I didn't break anything, although it came darn close, because in the end I did the split, and let me tell you, it did not feel good. Not on that one. But I did. And living outside of those comfort zones is absolutely everything. The last story I want to tell you about was one of the speech contests, and it was a humorous speech contest. Well, I gave my 5 to 7 minute humorous speech, and it was terrible. Absolutely, positively terrible. I was making magic brownies. Not that magical, but they were magic brownies. And I took my magic spatula. It was a black spatula. I put it down on the stage along with all my other props. And when it came time for me to reach for my black spatula, the one that was going to help me make these magic brownies, it disappeared. I couldn't find a black spatula in front of, I couldn't find my black spatula on black carpet. Why? I had 200 people looking at me. I turned around on stage, put my back to the audience. It was just so bad. But when I picked up that spatula, I came out of character. And I told everybody, look, we just learned something. Never put a black spatula down on black carpet because it disappears. I got my laugh. I got my laugh. When I went home that night, it was painful, and the only thing I remembered was I got nothing, and it was a terrible speech. But a couple of days later, I really looked back at that, and what I learned from that experience was two different things. I guess three. Never put a black spatula down on black carpet. But when I'm on stage and when I am performing someplace or I am giving a speech, it's a matter of being me, nobody else, and not performing. And the other thing, too, is that we always speak when you're talking in front of a crowd that you want to connect with somebody. And I did. One gentleman came up to me after my speech. He said, I loved your message. He didn't say I was funny. He did say he loved my message. Well, I was so upset from the speech, I didn't pay any attention to him. But a couple of days later, when I look back on it, I realized that. I don't know who he is, and if by chance you are watching this, you had an impact on me that was huge. You need to live outside of that comfort zone, and when you do, amazing things happen. You will sometimes fail, but you're going to learn something that's amazing. And Gail, it really is all about living outside of that comfort zone. And Rhoundy, I know that's something that's going to be real important for you this year, too. Living outside of that comfort zone. That's the place to learn.
Thank you so much, Brian Cohen. Or should we say James Brown?
Not if you saw the video, you won't say James Brown. But it's out there.
So learning how to speak like that is one of the things you learn in Toastmasters. Just learning how to do a prepared speech, an extemporaneous speech, learning more about leadership. What else? Anything else that we've missed?
Here's the thing about Toastmasters. They give you everything. You know, they give you a manual. They give you everything that you need to succeed within our organization. But here's the problem. Most of us take our manuals, when we get our manuals from the mail, and just put it on the desk and let it catch dust. But it's true. But in order to succeed in Toastmasters, you have to open that manual and go through every single speech and say, you know what, this is what I can do, and these are the things I need to work on to become a better speech, be able to craft a better speech. And sometimes we have to go outside of Toastmasters and buy books to help us become better speakers too. We must never begrudge the money we spend on our own success. And Toastmasters teach me that too. So if a book costs me $35, and I know that $35 is going to be important for me down the line, I'm going to spend the $35 because the return on investment is much more important to me than not reading that $35 book.
Right.
So that's what Toastmasters teaches all of us at a particular time within our lives too.
But there's also that investment of time. It is a matter of speaking. And when you do speak at a Toastmaster club, it's great that you're getting the feedback and you do learn from it. But there is nothing like speaking in front of an audience that's not so friendly, that's not going to say, oh, you did a really good job, even, you know, when sometimes you didn't, they're always very, very positive with it. But if you're speaking out at a group, like at a networking event or something like that, or getting on a comedy stage, that's feedback. That's immediate feedback.
So tell me about evaluations. Part of being a Toastmaster and giving all of these prepared speeches to earn your distinctions like CC and DTM is getting feedback or evaluation from fellow members. Tell me about that.
Well, one of the things he talked about comfort, and that's what's very important with Toastmasters. So we want our speakers to be comfortable up there, and the evaluation does that. You know, we tell you what you did good, but then we put in the middle like what you need to work on, and then we finish off with how you feel, how you should, you know, with something good. So that way they feel as though, you know, they might feel bad at a particular moment within their speech, but when you evaluate, tell them, hey, it's okay. Here's what you did good. I like it. They'd be like, oh, wow, really? I'm glad. Okay.
Does that process of giving something good, giving something maybe that you need to do improvement with, and then giving something good again, does that have a name?
It's called the sandwich approach.
The sandwich approach.
Yes. Low calorie.
So good, what you need to improve, and then good again.
Yes.
Right.
So before we go, so that we don't run out of time before we say it, let's make sure that everyone knows where they can go to Northern Brookhaven Toastmasters Club and also True Potential Toastmasters Club. Where can we go for more information about Northern Brookhaven?
You could Google. Just Google Northern Brookhaven Toastmasters. We come up. You could Google me, Brian Cohen, DTM. I come up on Google. and we're out in Suffolk County at Stony Brook University, and it's the second and fourth Thursdays, except, of course, for November and December.
Okay. And President Rhoundy Jones from True Potential, when are your meetings, where, and how can we contact you?
Like I said earlier, we meet every other Mondays. With the exception of January, we'll be meeting on January 28th, not January 21st.
And that's January 28th to 2013.
2013, that's correct.
In case this runs the next 5 years.
Yes, that is correct. If you want more information on our club, you could go to www.truepotential.toastmastersclub.org.
Say that one more time.
www.truepotential.toastmastersclub.org.
Okay. Do you guys have a website?
Yes, but he's better than I am.
Okay.
But I brought my book tonight. So maybe I got you on that one.
Is there somewhere that anyone can email you for more information, Rhoundy?
If you go on our website, it has every information. It has the officer's website email. So just go there. If you need more information, just click on information, and you could just send it, and it automatically comes to me. So.
And for our viewers who don't know, where is Queensboro Hall?
Queensboro Hall is right along Queens Boulevard in Kew Gardens, Queens.
Queens Boulevard, Kew Garden, Queens.
Yeah.
Your club, Northern Brookhaven, is out at Stony Brook.
Right, Stony Brook
And you
University.
can always get more information about all the clubs in District 46, and that's all 5 boroughs of New York City and Nassau and Suffolk, and also a little bit of Westchester, at the District 46 website.
Toastmasters46.org.
www.toastmasters46.org. Closing words, gentlemen?
Yes. I'm sorry if you were.
Oh, go ahead. This way, if they say something bad about me again, I have the last rebuttal.
There you go. One thing about Toastmasters, we have 14,000 members.
Okay.
In 160 in the entire organization.
Okay.
We operate in 116 countries, and we have about over 400,000 clubs. No, actually, I'm sorry, 16,000 clubs, over 400,000 members. We're a big organization. We're doing something right. And if this is your year to succeed, and if communication is your goal, then Toastmasters is the place to be.
And in 10 seconds, Brian?
I found that more and more companies are very interested in Toastmasters, and that's been an eye-opener to me. I helped out the district with that last year. So from a corporate standpoint or from a resume standpoint, Toastmasters is something to take a look at.
Thank you, gentlemen. This has been Communication Corner Spotlight on District 46 Toastmasters. I'm Gail Lewis. For more information about me, email me anytime. Newday, NEWDAY 2010 @yahoo.com. I've been your host, Gail Lewis of Communication Corner. Joining me, Brian Cohen, Rhoundy Jones, both Toastmasters. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we'll see you on Communication Corner real soon.